We're all storybook characters, our heads in a bind, lost for the moment, don't know when we'll find it. Who holds the ticket to a way out of here? Will we still be traveling in 2,000 years?
Hey everyone, welcome back. Psycho Derek here, and hope you guys are doing well. It's been a long time since I did a vinyl update, and this is probably going to be part one of 3 updates coming out hopefully all this week. We'll see how fast I push these videos out, but yeah, so my last video, Lawrence, Kansas trip was pretty awesome. I feel like there was another video even after that one. I've been getting comments lately about, someone trying to take my YouTube channel over, and it's a kind of scary situation, but if you guys see anything suspicious, let me know so I can contact youtube.biz. And they said some guy wearing a teal shirt, says Bud Light on it. I don't know what's going on there, but that sounds kind of fishy to me. Anyways, these Lawrence, Kansas finds had a hell of a time, by the way. Came out with a fair stack of LPs, nothing too crazy because of course the price was just climbing as I was in that shop. But if anybody's going through Kansas City or Lawrence, Kansas, I highly recommend this shop, Love Garden Sounds, especially if you're into like psych. But this store operates in all different kinds of diverse styles of music, not just for my stuff, but even for me, like even psych reissues, a lot of out-of-print stuff, and just a lot of surprises as I kept flipping alphabetically through the stacks. So I could have spent all day there, but of course we must progress, and I actually made it home that day too. So without spoiling time on that though, let's dive in a little bit. Try to talk about some of these a little, and not really in particular order, but I'm going to share the Love Garden sound finds first, and then kind of tell what I paid for them, and then I'll share a few records I found just down the block at a antique mall. So the first thing that I had to grab instantly for me was this one. This is The Contents Are Through You. This is a LP that was kind of discovered in the 90s. There was always rumors about this LP because I think they had some singles out at the time. It's kind of a semi-local band, based out of Iowa, but it's like on the border of Iowa and Illinois, so very much the east side of Iowa. And copies didn't turn up till like the late 90s, I think, and or was it late 90s or 2005 maybe? Copy was found at Austin Record Convention, and there was only 100 pressed copies of this private press till this reissue came out in 2013, and this is by the Machu Picchu Limited label. I think it has some association with Light in the Attic. Yeah, Machu Picchu Limited. I'll try to get a close-up here of the liner notes. You guys can read that. So basically, I've been wanting this a long time, and it seems like prices have kind of climbed up in recent years. I've been seeing copies about 25 and up, and I'm not finding very many in the US anymore. I found this a little under 20 bucks in the store, and it has all the inserts with it. And just before making this video, yesterday I watched Ron's video where he did a video just on this band, Hog's Ear Report, and he was talking how fascinated he was by this album, considering how young they were, and because these are just high school kids, probably the oldest looking high school kids out there. But yeah, superb quality songwriting in this sort of kind of lo-fi, garagey folk rock vibe. And Beatles are definitely an influence for this band. And I used to have their second follow-up, which was like an archival release, and they kind of go in a more hard rock direction on that one, but I parted ways with it. I just barely played it, but it's good. So yeah, Through You, contents are, I can't really give like one notable standout. They're all really great. Country Roads is a great opener. What's my other favorite? Tonight in Venice and Reoccurring Changes are just a few highlights off of here. Fantastic, like I said, if you're into albums like Out of the Box, that Private LP, and Mystery Meat, it's kind of in that world. It's very lo-fi, kind of a rocky production, but the sound quality or the songwriting ability is on point, and it's very much a standout in that realm, in that sense. And this comes with the correct 45s. I think Ron said the first one he got was like duplicates of the same 45, if I remember correctly. I don't know. It's like one of the highlights. Fantastic. So to get this under its value, the prices in Love Garden Sounds were just incredible. I mean, I could have picked up a lot more stuff, but like I said, the price was starting to gain up on me, so had to keep moving on. And then picked up on a few cheapies while I was in there too that I've been wanting. And I found this major label LP, Earth Island, We Must Survive. And I think two weekends ago now, Dan at Dots and Loops played this on his live stream because I had shared it on Instagram, and it's kind of a cool gatefold. Buffalo there. And I reviewed this on Instagram as sort of like an eco-friendly psych record because pretty much all the tracks on here relate to, you know, cleaning up the environment and taking care of Mother Earth, which is all good. That's definitely the kind of songs I want to listen to, you know. Not about like people twerking and all that stuff going on nowadays, but yeah, it's on the Philips label. And I've been just trying forever to find a copy under $20 because it is still a rather cheap album to pick up on, but I just could not find it under 20, and this was under 10, so right there you had me sold. So the two highlights for me, there's two big highlights. Ride the Universe, which has some nice vocal delays, and then the other one, where is it? Mother Earth is a Beautiful Lover. It's kind of got this folk pop, folk psych kind of thing going for it, haunting melodies in the background. Fantastic band. I think they were based out of Canada. I don't quite remember where they're based out of. Somewhere in that region, I think. Or the upper states, or Canada. Can't remember. Now, Psychedelic Snow, Sean, I know he's a big fan of Phil Pearlman and his studio albums. And I found two of them there. I found this one, The Beat of the Earth, which I favor a little more than the Electronic Hole. To me, that one's kind of very inconsistent and only has like half of really good tracks in my opinion. This one is more of like a trance-induced droney psych. Think of like The Doors' The End, and it lasted for like 40 minutes. It's kind of the result. It's very much in that kind of realm, you know, it has a very droney atmosphere to it, and you're just very much experimenting with tambourine. What's all the other instruments they use? I forget. Tambourine, there's like a flute in one part, and I think side 2 is probably my preferred listen, but overall, you know, if you're looking to trip out on some stuff, you know, this is the go-to album. I mean, you don't even have to take drugs for this one. This is an artistic statement. Certainly is. And Phil Pearlman, I want to say Phil Hartman, but it's not Phil Hartman. He was, and if you guys didn't know, Phil Hartman did design some album covers back in the 70s and late 60s. Notably, what's that album? Rockin' Foo. Anyways, I'm getting off track. Phil Pearlman also did Relatively Clean Rivers, which is an obscure, you know, folk rock classic for many people. Not this guy. I mean, I like some of it, but it's very hippie, which is okay, but that album's just never latched on for me like these two have. So very nice free improv droney psychedelic sounds coming from here. Dill Pickles! People will get that reference if they know that album. And then I picked up on this. I was kind of surprised to see this here. Never seen it in person before, and for $5 I couldn't pass on it. This is another great cheapie. I don't think anybody in the VC shared this, to my knowledge. Earthquake, self-titled debut. This came out in '71, and this is sort of like a kind of predates ever so slightly power pop coming from the U.S. And these guys were based out of San Francisco, and they had like 2 or 3 other LPs, which I have not heard, but it's on A&M. Most notably the track Things, which is a 9-minute piece on here. First got me introduced to the band. And, you know, if you guys like that kind of, it's not, I don't want to say generic classic rock sound, but it's very much in that classic rock kind of commercially viable world. You guys would definitely like this. It's not too hard rock. It's got a lot of hard rock energy, but it's kind of your typical pop rock. But like I said, some power pop movements. I guess that's what power pop essentially is, you know, kind of a harder pop sound. But Tumbleweed definitely could have been a hit if the cards were laid out right with this band. But the rest of it, you know, it's like a 3.5 out of 5-star album for me. It's about your average album, but it's got some nice moments in here and vastly overlooked, in my opinion. So, Earthquake. I don't know any notable members from this band, but never gets talked about. This is probably the heavy pick from the trip. This one's kind of been on my radar a little bit recently. I had it on my Discogs want list for a while, but then I just kind of could never find a copy under $50 for the longest time. That was better than VG Plus, and so this was thankfully much lower than that in person. And this is Help. It's their second album, Second Coming. And the first album I'm just about as big a fan of as far as this one too. They're both very different in style. That one's a little more rural associated, and this one's definitely more leaning towards the hard rock sound, which I think a lot of people in the VC would really dig this album. Opens up with a fantastic track. What's it called? Do you understand the words? It's got like this really crazy delay effect opening the track, and it's very much, it doesn't really sound like 1971. It sounds like a few years later, like 74, 75. Kind of got a commercial sound, but side 2 really picks up and kind of goes in a sort of underground vibe. A lot more heavier, and it's got a slightly Christian vibe too, most notably. It's a sample copy. I thought for the longest time this was a gatefold, and it's not. So, that was another surprise. It's on Decca. I forget where these guys are from, but Chet McCracken would later go on to have success, and I believe Doobie Brothers. I think that's where he went. He had a pretty good success being a drummer. He started out in this band. So, yeah, The Second Coming by Help is fantastic. Hard rock. I think of Dylan at Noble Records would enjoy something like this. I'm sure he probably has this, but definitely in his kind of world. Next one I picked up, so I was kind of looking around a little bit too, and you know, you guys probably saw in my video, there was lots of great psych reissues out there, but you know, a few of them were getting kind of pricey, like the Craig Smith, who did the 2 double LP Apache Inca deluxe release, but you know, $70 for that thing, I don't know. I think I could spend better money on like 4 or 5 LPs, but nonetheless, this is the last LP I picked up on, I believe. Yeah. And this was in a different section. I don't remember where I found this, if it was in the compilation section. It's kind of a comp, I guess, but I started to notice that it's kind of got a bad split there. Start to split there as well. It's not glued very well. But this is basically a compilation by Soft Machine in their early years, recorded in April '67, featuring famous David Allen. Now, I kind of picked this up thinking, okay, this has got their 2 singles on it because it's got David Allen in it, and it does not. And that's a couple of their best tracks from the early era of Soft Machine, and doesn't even feature those tracks. It does have a couple tracks that would later go on to their self-titled debut, like Save Yourself, and the track I Should Have Known, which was later retitled, what was it called? I can't even think of the name. I think it's like the 3rd or 4th track on that album. Anyways, yeah, sound quality's pretty good, and these sessions really kick ass. Like, they are top quality. I mean, coming from April of '67 and having like these sort of like proto progressive rock movements and all these kind of quirky, complex arrangements for that time, it was just unheard of, you know, coming from the European psychedelic scene, you know, kind of teaming up with other bands like Tomorrow and the Pink Floyd, because they were both famous bands featured in like the UFO Club as well as Soft Machine. So it's kind of in that school, but man, these guys were so ahead of their time, and I'm still glad I picked this up, even though it doesn't feature those 2 tracks, their first single. So this is a later reissue. I think it came out in '77. So yeah, I do love early Soft Machine. Not too big on their second album, but the 3rd one is probably my last favorite, where they go full out progressive jazz rock, jazz fusion. But Robert Wyatt, man, I mean, all these guys, all 4 of them, Mike Ratledge, Kevin Ayers, and David Allen, I mean, they all had such unique personalities that they just all came together as one and really showcased what they're all about, and, you know, right from the get-go. So glad I picked it up for that. Okay, and then on to the finds that I found in Antique Mall. I forget the name of it, but it's like just 2 stores down the same block. So in my mind, I always thought to myself, this is probably like a $40 album or something, $30 to $40 album. And I was kind of right. Maybe in good, clean condition, like near mint, maybe. But I found this for $5, and I thought to myself, ooh, better grab it while it's here. And I didn't even bother looking at the record condition when I got this. But so this is Shazam by The Move. And the cover is a little rough. I didn't really pay attention to the condition of this very well, but I could probably make a little more money out of this. The record thankfully plays pretty well. It does have one nasty looking mark. I don't know where it's at. It's like right there. Where my pinky finger's at. Yeah, it's not picking it up. Anyways, it plays about VG+, so I'm pretty happy with the outcome. Now, I haven't listened to this album in a long time, and I kind of figured out why. Once I revisited this, just this afternoon, this is kind of one of those albums that a lot of people do like, and me, I'm just kind of on the fence about it. They have a lot of interesting ideas going for it. Like, I love half the track of Hello Susie. Like, I love the chorus line with the phasing effects, but after that, it just kind of sounds like it's trying to move into a different movement or something. And I think there's just like a lot of rehashed ideas going through it, like lots of folk influenced material in a sort of classical vein, and they use like sitar, and they have like a hard rock backing, especially on side 2. There's just like a lot of mixed bag going for it, and I don't think it gels very well, in my opinion. And I've never really been too huge on The Move already. Like, their first album is kind of hit and miss for me too, last I heard it. So I knew kind of going into this why I didn't really had this on my radar, but still glad I picked it up. And we'll try to see if this kind of grows on me eventually, but I don't know. It's not really, you know, I can think of way better albums in this sort of league than what's presented here. It's sort of like artsy, progressive rock, kind of getting out of psych. You know, I think this was recorded in the late '60s, but yeah, it didn't settle very well this time around. At least I'm not in the mood for it today. So I tried a couple times to play this, and finally made it through the whole thing today. So it was a tough listen for me. I think a lot of it has to do just with the complex writing structures and trying to figure out where they're supposed to go and stuff. So didn't really work for me, but I'll try again. So and then I was kind of scrounging around, upstairs, downstairs, looking for records, and I came across this one. Just looking at the cover and looking at the back, seeing what the whole thing was about. Took a chance on it for $3, I think it was. So just looking at that, you can kind of tell right away. Maybe it's like a school choir or something like that nature, and it's a high school pop band who recorded this. I think it Blue Springs High School Pop Choir. And I think I looked it up, and I think Blue Springs is part of Kansas City, so that's kind of the association there. And then I looked what they played. It says drums, guitar, piano, organ, bass, so I thought maybe there's something here. And just judging by the different songs they do, like Be True to Your School, Chapel of Love, Blue Moon, some oldies on here. And the first track, I was like, okay, come on, give me something. And then I heard something really awesome. Really up-tempo drums and horn section going on. Nice organ fitting in there. And it's not necessarily all choir singing. Sometimes it's singular voices. But the first track, Somebody Smiled on Me, that sounds like something I would hear on like a Numero compilation or Now Again compilation. Just kind of mixed in with like different high school bands, something like that. So that's probably one track I'm going to upload on my Cosmic Minds channel. There's also a few different tracks too. Shades of Grey. Overall a weak track, but I was really surprised how they closed it. It had like these weird vocal delays like overlapping each other and almost sounded like kind of creepy, and to think this was like a high school project, it just struck me as very real people sounding, But the other favorite track here is Blue Moon. I do kind of an up-tempo sort of version of it, which is kind of cool. I thought it was kind of neat. On a purple private label there. So yeah, nothing too great, but that opening track was a surprise, and I was like, ooh, wonder what else is in store for this one, but that was about it, unfortunately. And then, okay, so I forgot to show the 45s, and I guess I was saving these for last, but I'll show the two that I found at the antique mall first, and then one of them was a really good one, which I'll share from the Love Garden Sounds. So I picked these two up just on a whim, because I've been watching Mac Stevens, like, I kind of made fun of him in my Lawrence, Kansas video. I've been kind of getting back into 45s kind of slowly just because of his, I've been watching a lot of his older videos, kind of catching up on stuff, and there's one video where he talks about how to look for rare records or something of that nature, and what to look for on labels. And he always talks about like the lines in between here, and if they have the address on top. Well, this one qualifies, and this is Crazy Things by Larry Dean with the Enchanters and Madeline Baby. And I think this is more like a doo-wop kind of semi-rockabilly type of thing. Seems pretty scarce, so I think some people would really enjoy this, though. Can't find any information on it, but it was a very cool find. And these two were like 45 cents each. 45 cents each. Get it? But I think this one's the better one of the two. And this is Swinging Connors, Walkin' the Chalk on Boyd Records. Backed with Milk Cow Blues. And I think this had a paper sleeve originally when I looked it up. I guess they were promoting some kind of bread brand. I forget the bread brand name, but yeah, it came with a paper sleeve like that, so kind of interesting. And this is kind of more of a... I'm not really good at like describing like rockabilly stuff, but it's kind of in that world. Kind of early rock and roll sounds. I guess that's the way you could describe it, like, rock and roll, because that's what it initially was at the time. But pretty cool finds, but these were the ones I took home from Love Garden Sound that I knew of. And I'm probably going to upgrade on a copy of this because Lincoln Vintage Vinyl said he had a pristine picture sleeve of this band, this single, so I might pick up on that. And this is Flavor with Heart Teaser, backed with Yeah I'm Hip. And I picked this up for Yeah, I'm Hip, because I'm pretty familiar with that beat track. It's kind of a Spencer Davis Group inspired psych soul single. Both songs are kind of in that world, so pretty cheap single to pick up on. It's got some nice fuzz here and there. Very nice percussive sounds and great vocals too. And I tested these out at the turntable that I could use to test the records out. So that was kind of fun. And then this was the one I took home. Probably the most expensive piece I brought back. The one I paid up for anyway. And this is a local single. It's been featured on most recently Brown Acid compilation, I think the 6th trip. But I was initially, I found out about this single through A Lethal Dose of Hard Psych with the track It's Cruel by Enoch Smokey. Or Enoch Smokey, rather. It's on the Pumpkin Seed label. And looking at it, it looks kind of like it could have some playing issues. It's not getting the best light, but this thing plays really loud and proud. Nice VG plus. Kind of a cool label. I guess these guys were based out of Iowa City. So kind of semi-local. And they do a great version. It's Cruel's kind of more of a cream-based hard rock sound with some wah-wah guitar. But their version of Roll Over Beethoven is no slouch either. This is a really good up-tempo, very thick bass playing. It was very heavy. So yeah, I picked up on that. Really cool single. So this is kind of what pumped me to get back into singles, after that one, man. Fantastic. So anyways, that does it. Part 1 of 3, I think, because I got online finds, and then I actually went to Lincoln yesterday. Yesterday as in Saturday. I'll probably upload this tomorrow, Monday. Monday for you. So I'm going to sign off here. Psycha Derek here. And if you guys see a guy wearing a teal tank top, preferably says Bud Light on it, let me know. I'm going to have a chat with him on my YouTube page. So it ain't going to fly around here, buddy. Ain't going to happen. So if you guys see him, let me know and report it, okay? And we shall see you guys soon.